Good evening. So I decided I want to do some art today. It's my birthday week, so I decided I'm going to draw Eevee and all of its evolutions from Pokemon because, after all, my channel is named after this character. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to draw Eevee first. Alright, let's put the paper where you can see it. And I forgot to put my light on. Hold on. Yeah, you should be able to see it better now. I'm still going without a face cam tonight. Yesterday I was able to use the face cam because the piano setup requires that camera, but with the light on here, I don't really want to do face cam yet, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll start, of course, with Eevee, the star of the show, and then we're going to do the Eeveelutions. And I figured we would go in alphabetical order rather than Pokedex order, because that's easier for me to keep track of. So, after Eevee, we're going to do Espeon, Flareon, Glaceon, Jolteon, Leafeon, Sylveon, Umbreon, and then we'll finish with Vaporeon. There's something under the paper. There was a little something under the paper. I could feel it under the pen. And it was... And when you have little bits of material under the paper unexpectedly, it can bump the pen out of place and mess up lines. So you gotta be, when you discover you've got stuff under the paper, you gotta be careful and remove it. I had theater tickets for my birthday, but the theater wasn't the theater lifted COVID policies last month, you know, before the spike. So my family decided to cancel the tickets. So we're going to go to an escape room instead. I like escape rooms. I have been to I think I've been to 5 different escape rooms in person. Was it 5? Yeah, I think it was 5. So this will be my 6th escape room in person. And there's also, because escape rooms are so popular, several publishers have started putting out tabletop escape room games. Those are fun too, but not as much, because with tabletop escape games, if they make it so that the props are interactable, you can't put the game back together and give it to your friends. So a lot of them are card-based and don't really have interactive props. The ones which do have interactive props, you can't give back to reset and give to your friends to play. So tabletop escape rooms are fun, but tabletop escape games aren't quite as fun as the real thing. Oh man, this is a large eye. Same deal as always. I only color in the eyes, because you need to color in the eyes, or the characters look like they're on drugs. So coloring in the eyes is essential. But that's all I'm coloring, is eyes. Because if I was to color all the black parts, we'd be here all night. I mean, we'll still be together for a good chunk of the night. I've got 9 of these pictures to do tonight. Once I finish coloring this eye, we can do the rest of his face, and then we'll be done with the face, and then we just have to draw the body. And some of the Eeveelutions have simple designs, and some of them have complicated designs. So I'm not sure exactly how long we'll be together for tonight. But this is an all Pokemon show. And tomorrow we'll be doing viewer participation games. Let's keep the eyes symmetrical. I accidentally colored in the little dot here, so we'll do it on the other side too. And like before, I pulled up all the reference images in advance. All right. I know sometimes I cover the page while I work. It's to help support me and not let the page move while I'm drawing, because if the page moves while I'm drawing, that could be bad. Eevee's such a cute little fuzzball. And I almost picked an Eevee in an action pose, but I figured since a number of the Eeveelutions that we'll be drawing tonight are in action poses, I wanted to go with a standard cute pose for Eevee. My hand shifted with that one. Yeah, that shape doesn't look quite right. Let's fill in. There, that kind of makes it look a little better, but still not great. Yeah. Legs are kind of the worst part on this one, but overall, I don't think it came out too bad. Yeah, proportions are way off, but otherwise, that's a cute start. Not too bad. Could have been better, but that's a decent start for tonight. I think we're ready to move on. So we're going to do Espeon next. I may have drawn the ear too big. Let's go on and see what happens. I think I can work with this. Tail might be a little cut off, but we'll worry about that later. I did notice that one of the musicians that I really like started a show right before I did. He usually goes for 2 to 3 hours. So if I finish my 9 pictures before he signs off, I'll probably end up rating him. Because most of the musicians that I follow are on the Tuesday, Thursday schedule. And so I never get to listen to all of them because they're all on at the same time. And then I have to pick and choose, and it makes me sad. I mean, I follow a lot of musicians. I don't get why they all have to be on at the same time. Why can't they spread out throughout the week? I guess they all have personal lives of their own, which is probably has something to do with why they can't. And they just all coincidentally happen to be available on the Tuesday, Thursday schedule, and today is Wednesday. So I'm hoping I can find a musician to rate after stream. I was going to do the show tomorrow, the day before my birthday, but I wanted to do a viewer participation game stream this week, and those require my brother's participation, and he has an early shift at work tomorrow. So we'll be doing the viewer games tomorrow instead, when he's available in the evening. Okay, let's give the nose a little more detail. That looks like a... Can you tell that's a nose? It's not supposed... Oh, I'll shade this. And the source image, he doesn't actually have black parts of the eyes. He has kind of magic psychic eyes. I hope I didn't overdo that nose. He's got a very simple pose. We'll be on to Flareon in no time, but so yeah. He is in a pose that makes the paws a bit awkward to draw. And I drew that foot too fat, so he gets an extra toe compared to the source image at least. There's a little bit of a back leg for you. Okay, so yeah, legs are a bit awkward. Let's just draw the tail in and consider him done. That's better. So there we go. There's an Espeon. So now we're going to draw Flareon. Oh boy. This one's in kind of an action pose, but not a battle pose. Kind of more of a running pose. And I'm not sure where to begin with this guy. And Flareon. Flareon and Jolteon both have a lot of spiky bits in the reference material. So this one could take me a little while to do. But I'm in no rush. Can't rush art. Sometimes you get an easy picture that you can knock out in a couple minutes, like we had with Espeon. And sometimes you get a picture that just has way too much detail in it, and you're on it all night. Like last month when I drew Pit. I think Pit I was on for like 20 minutes, probably close to a half hour it took me to draw Pit. He had so much detail. Pit from Kid Icarus, another popular Nintendo franchise. And yeah, I've already messed up the proportions on that, but it's salvageable. We're still early enough in the picture that we can make it work. Okay. Yeah, we can make this work. He's coming along fine so far. I hope the black parts of the eye aren't this big on all of them, because the black parts of the eyes can cause cramps. And if you don't color the black parts of the eyes, even when you're not coloring most of your picture, if you don't do the eyes, they look like they're on drugs. Not having that with my art. I learned that all the way back the first time I drew animal characters, but the principle applies to human characters as well. You always want to color the black portion of the eyes, even if you're not otherwise doing color. I know the eyes aren't a perfect mirror of each other, but it kind of shows that the head is actually at an angle, which it is in the source. So far, this one has the sloppiest start, but there's six more chances after this to get something truly spectacular. So even though this is a relatively sloppy start, it's still not going to be terrible. I mean, I've had worse starts and that have come out well, and I've had good starts that have come out worse. So a sloppy start doesn't necessarily mean anything, but usually it sets the tone for what is to come afterwards. So there. Yeah, he looks kind of derpy. You know, let's make that eye a little bit bigger. It's now a little bit closer in line to the other eye, but I can't extend it all the way out without making it look derpier than it already does. So let's just move on to the body. It's okay to have a slightly derpy face, especially when you're dealing with animal characters and Pokemon, because what it says is, hey, this particular Flareon has personality. And we're gonna, we might not have to cut off the front paw. The action pose, the left paw is lifted. So, alright, that's good enough for that. I'm going to adjust the angle from the reference just because it's getting cut off. But you can see the toes in there. There. And he's got a lifted front paw. And now let's do... Yeah. There's a lot going on. This is a dynamic action pose. So let's got this going on for setting up the back paw. And I drew this line in at the wrong angle. So yeah, in the reference image, it shows the Flareon running, which I like dynamic action poses, especially for tonight, where I tried to get each of the 9 Pokemon in a different pose, because I didn't want to be drawing the same position over and over again. I figured that would be boring. So there's a few in battle poses. Flareon's in a running pose. Some, like the Espeon, are in standing poses. Tail time. And Flareon art often uses these spiky things to represent fire. There's another Eeveelution that you'll see later, Jolteon, who also does the spiky thing. But for Jolteon, it represents electricity. We'll let his tail be a little cut off at the edge of the page. That's not a huge deal. I'd rather have tails cut off than legs cut off. But I didn't leave enough room for all this detail down here. That's okay. You can tell it's supposed to be a hot, fiery mess, his tail. And let's just draw some dynamic. He's got some dynamic action lines going on in here. There we go. There's Flareon. Now let's get ready. Glaceon, I think, is next. Yeah, Glaceon. I've started to look into the possibility of doing color work. That's all off-camera research. It'll probably be several weeks or a month or more before I'll decide how to approach color work on stream. But when I do start color, then I may do like one picture per stream because coloring takes so long. I've done color back when I used to draw. I did a few things in color, and they always took me like an hour or two. So that's a whole stream on one picture. So I may decide not to go into color because I like the speed sketches. I may try it once and see how it goes. And if I do start doing color, then I'm going to want to do a picture of the whole Eevee family together. Like one picture with all 9 of them. I think that would be fun to do. But I wouldn't do something like that until I was working on color. And it would be like a whole stream on that one picture. I've never understood what these things hanging from Glaceon's ears are, but they look cool. And Glaceon also doesn't have black portions in his eyes, at least according to this reference image. Probably because he's got the icy chill eyes going on. Almost all the Eeveelutions have this cute little black nose, though. Okay, he looks a little derpy without black portions in his eyes, but we're going in with the source, so we'll roll with it. And Glaceon has these bits on his paws where they're a different color than the legs. I think it's the only Eeveelution that does that. Could be wrong on that, though. I just haven't seen any yet tonight. You think, these are my 9 favorite characters. I should know them inside and out. But I don't give Pokemon as much attention as I give some of my other fandoms. So it's understandable. So we're going to do a viewer participation stream tomorrow. That's the plan, at least. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, going to be iffy, but I'll try and stream at least once during the weekend. I want to do another episode of showing off my Pokemon cards, and I want to do, I'm overdue to do some more shenanigans in Morrowind, so... I mean, I keep promising I'm going to show you guys Sadrith Moor Academy of Witchcraft, and there's a couple other ideas I had for fun Morrowind episodes. Oh, and in addition to Kazoosicles, I started setting up my Kazoo song request list. So pretty soon we'll be doing Kazoo request nights. Where you get to pick the songs that I play on Kazoo. Okay, body's not the cleanest. He's got this little spot on his back. Let's give him a tail. When it comes to Eeveelutions, yeah, not bad. He still looks derpy. Still looks derpy and druggy without the black eyes, but I'm going from the source material here, so let's move on to Jolteon. Jolteon is the 5th picture of tonight, and as such, when we start Jolteon, we're less than halfway done, and when we finish Jolteon, we're more than halfway done. Oh boy. Looks like the ear is trying to be the central focus. And Jolteon's in a ready to start something kind of pose. He's really getting ready for action. Yeah, and he's got spiky detail bits all over the place. We could be on him for a while. Okay, the ears don't look too bad. Let's go on with the rest of the head now. He's got really big black eyes. Yeah, this Jolteon looks angry. Maybe not angry, maybe just tough. I can't tell from the image if it's getting ready to fight because it's mad at something, or if it's getting ready to fight because it's in an actual Pokemon battle and it's its job to fight. Either way, it looks tough and ready for action. And I've only been doing this for 40 minutes, and I'm already at the halfway Pokemon. Couldn't really do a bonus picture tonight, even if I felt like it, because it wouldn't fit thematically. If I did feel like doing another bonus picture, it would be a Pokemon for sure. At least with that, at least we have the Pokemon theme going. So even if it's not, even if I wanted to do a bonus, even if it's not an Eeveelution, it could still fit within the material. I'm probably gonna do another Disney specific art night sometime soon. I like drawing Disney characters. I didn't draw his mouth as angry as he looks in the source. That's quite okay though. Let's just keep rolling with it. He's got this big, spiky, electric collar around his head. There, he's got a nice big spiky collar now. And the front paw is just coming off the front of him like this. Sticking out from under the collar. And then he's got the other front paw pulled back like this. And then he's got another round of spikes coming from his back like this. Hold on, I just realized that this reference image is missing, is potentially missing a detail, so let me go look that up. Hold on. And Jolteon just locked up my browser, so can't finish him without the reference image, so here. Enjoy a partial Jolteon while I try and resolve this. Man, I've been having a lot of technical difficulties on my streams recently. Alright, that takes care of that. Restore. Pardon me for 1 minute while I check another reference image, because I think part of the reference image might be missing. And no, I'm not actually mistaken. I got it right. I just wasn't used to seeing it at that angle, so. Pulling up I'm restoring my other reference images for the night now. And then we'll finish them up. Alright, back to Jolteon. So yeah, the reference image is pretty good, so we're just going to roll with it. Hold on. I'm getting a phone call during stream again. Why is it muted with? Okay. Did I unmute? Looks like I unmuted. Good. That's a problem with me, because, you know, I go out of my way to tell her every time when I'm starting a show. so that she doesn't call me during the show. And almost, and more than half the time, she calls me during the show anyway. Alright. Jolteon doesn't really have a tail. He just has these electric flanks. So I think we're pretty much done here with Jolteon. What the? Alright, now it's time for Leafeon. Oh boy, where to begin with Leafeon? Oh, this detail's in front of everything, so let's start with a little leaf on his head. This one is kind of a little dimensional line going on as well. Alright. Now from here. I don't know why. If you get a comment during the show. I'm a little fed up. Alright. Alright. I'm not sure if I drew this line in the right place. But given the way he has a slightly different facial shape than the other Eeveelutions, it can be salvageable. I may have drawn those lines too low, but I think it's salvageable. He's got another weird eye thing going on. It's like all brown with a little black and white part in the middle. This is another one that's the face is going to look a little bit weird. Yeah, I drew that line way off. It's salvageable if I adapt the eyes, I think. So there's that. But now the eyes don't look like matches. Shoot. Okay, to make the eyes match, let's increase the dark portion of this one. And that line's uneven too. Alright. You said to get it to me by tomorrow. It's good enough. When we put in the rest of the detail, it's not going to matter too much. But let's extend out these leafy lines on the top, because they're supposed to be a little closer to the eyes. And his mouth is on the not visible underside of the head, so let's proceed. And we're cutting off paws, I think, on this guy. We haven't done that all night, but you know me. It's not an art night unless somebody gets their feet cut off at the edge of the page. So far, I think this is the weakest of everything I've done tonight. But we got to keep going. We're too far in to start over. Leafeon's unique with all these little leaf bits growing off of him. I like that effect. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of work practicing songs on kazoo, getting my kazoo song request list ready for. But I think my next kazoo stream is going to be a kazoozical, because I haven't done one of those in a while. For technical reasons, I've had to temporarily suspend kazoozicals for a couple weeks. But I'll be able to do them again anytime after this coming Friday. So yay. He's got these little leaf details on his tail. The tail's basically a giant leaf. Why does the phone keep ringing? Okay. I think this is the weakest of all the ones we've done so far, but we've still got 3 left to go. We've been doing this for about an hour. We're way ahead of schedule. I've been getting faster with my art. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, seeing how weak some of today's have been, but let's keep going. We're now doing Sylveon. Where to begin with Sylveon? Sylveon, of course, being the fairy type evolution, and the only evolution to have been debuted on its own without a second evolution with it. And Sylveon's got a really pretty color scheme in pink and sky blue. Okay, Sylveon's got a lot of detail going on, more than most. It's got ribbons and cuteness and girly stuff going on. So Sylveon, this is going to be a controversial statement, but Sylveon in many ways is kind of the Disney princess of the Eevee family. And then the ear on the other side. And this ear also has a ribbon coming off of it. Okay. In addition to the bow on its head, it's also got a bow on its neck that I gotta... See, it's all this extra detail, which makes it awkward to know which lines to draw in which order. Also, because of Sylveon's chill colors, no black in the eyes. So this is another one that's probably going to look druggy. So much pink and sky blue going on. Sylveon is a character that I'd really like to do in color someday. I'm not sure if I left room for the paws or not. But let's finish drawing and yeah. I can make it work with Sylveon. And Sylveon is like Glaceon with the differently colored feet, it looks like. Wow, Sylveon's got ribbons all over the place. I knew that. I just didn't realize it was so many. And I may have messed up the proportions again, like I often do with animals, but that's what practice is for. I'll probably do another Eeveelution night in a few months, because I feel today's been a little weak overall compared with what I usually do. So let's draw that ribbon going down behind the tail. And then she's got another ribbon going like this. So it looks like that ribbon's got a little twist in it. And then it comes down between the front legs like this. And then there's a little trace of the back leg visible behind it. Yeah, that's totally off proportion. Not terrible, though. Yeah, I'll definitely need to work on my Eeveelutions some more. Because I've had a number of relatively weak ones tonight. Okay. Alright, Umbreon. And Umbreon has one of the simplest bodies to do. There's really... It's got markings, but no real extra detail, so... And yet, I'm going to restart Umbreon, because I did not leave enough room for the ear. Once in a while, when you draw the first line, you just know you got to restart. But once you've put in more than, say, a minute, it's better to try to salvage than to restart. And while the Eeveelutions usually um, fluctuate among my favorite positions, ranked 2nd through 9th, Eevee is always 1st place, and Mew is always 10th place, but the Eeveelutions fluctuate between 2 and 9, and on any given day I could rank them in a different order. But Umbreon typically is one of my favorites, and typically ranks in my top 3 Eeveelutions each day, regardless of how the rest of the Eeveelutions fall. And Umbreon's body is black, so I'm not coloring it. Because then I'll be here all night just doing Umbreon. And Umbreon's got some markings. But no real extra body detail like most of the other Eeveelutions do. Umbreon's actually one of the easiest of the Eeveelutions to draw. And that's one of the things I like about it. I like its simplicity. I like how it manages to look like the toughest Eeveelution, even though it doesn't have extra body parts or spiky bits or anything really extra like all the other Eeveelutions do. And I already drew that body too long, but we can work with it. And it's got markings on its legs as well. Legs, tail, forehead, ears. That's where all the markings are for Umbreon. Yeah. Yeah, I know I drew the proportions way off again, but again, that's what practice is for. And I'm not used to doing an all-animal episode with no people. You know what I just realized? There's only one more Eeveelution after this. This has gone a lot quicker than I thought it would. So I think I will pick one more Pokemon to draw after this. Because we're not even going to get to an hour and a half. So we're going to add one more picture for tonight. It's not going to be an Eeveelution, though. Okay. It's a little fat, proportions are off, but it's not terrible. I think this is actually one of the cleaner ones tonight. There's Umbreon. And I'm sorry if that was off camera for a bunch of it. I don't know how much of Umbreon's drawing was off camera. So, one more. And then we'll figure out if I want to extend the episode. Now we're going to do Vaporeon. And Vaporeon's got a ton of detail. Vaporeon's probably got more extra detail than any of the Eeveelutions. Between its head crests, its spine, it's got a lot going on. Yeah. I'm so glad that Vaporeon ended up coming out last alphabetically, because it's also the most detailed and has the highest probability of being sloppy. But I'll do my best. I need those lines to be at about the same place, and they're not. Okay. The head crest is all sorts of misaligned, but it's not a biggie. I've never drawn Vaporeon before, so. I know the head looks incomplete. That's because it still has this big crest around its neck that I gotta draw in when I finish the face. And from there, the body. Okay. Vaporeon has these deep alien-looking eyes. Faces always look so awkward when I'm in the middle of drawing them. That one part of the picture where I'm drawing the face, after doing the top of the head detail and then before I go on to the body detail, that bit with parts of the face in, parts of the face missing, has always struck me as a little bit creepy. This is another one that doesn't have a mouth for some reason. Well, let's draw in this little crest mane thing going on. And this goes all the way around its head. And no, I did not line that up correctly, but that's okay. I can't name any artist who always draws Vaporeon's crest in precisely the same position each time. I don't think even the Pokemon card artists draw the crest in precisely the same position each time. I think that's impossible. As long as it looks like it's in position. That's what matters. body time. And actually on Vaporeon, believe it or not, the tail, even though it's one of many parts of Vaporeon that has extra detail, is probably the easiest part of the body to draw. Where to begin with the crest? I mean the spine. There's all sorts of twisting and turning on the spine because of the way the tail twists around. There's a difference between making something look good and making something look not horrible. And sometimes, depending on how complicated the reference image is, sometimes you have to settle a bit for not horrible, but I think he's still coming out pretty okay overall. Alright, so we drew in the spine. So now we can draw in the back end of the tail. Or is this the front end of the tail? And from here, body lines. It's got a front paw coming down behind the tail. And then he's got the indication of the beginnings of the back leg. Body line comes out up here. And then he's got the other front paw, also visible behind the tail. And none of the back leg is visible behind the tail. Okay, I think I want to try. The picture doesn't quite look complete to me. Let me look up another reference image real quick. Yeah, let's do that real quick. We'll give it a mouth. There, now it looks a little more complete. I'd say overall 122. Let's do one more. One more picture. And since I wasn't really planning on doing an encore, let's just do something simple. This character's got 100 reference images, right? Ah, yes. We're going with that. we're going to do a Pikachu, but not modern Pikachu. We're going to do with the, we're going to go with the, for the reference, we're going to use the fat Pikachu model that they used way back in the first generation 20 years ago, before they streamlined him. Because I always thought the fat Pikachu variant was of the Pikachu design was pretty cute. And Pikachu got a redesign, I think, before the second generation. So fat Pikachu was really only a Gen 1, Gen 2 thing. And I drew the body too long, but with fat Pikachu, it's kind of hard to judge proportions just because it's so different from the regular Pikachu. So yeah. So this one is a fat Pikachu variant called the tall fat Pikachu. Because the real fat Pikachu was kind of short. Gotta love old school designs. Phone's ringing again. But it's not for me this time. Phone rings too often during stream. I do apologize. There's nothing I can do about that. So now I just have to draw in the eyes. I guess you could call this derp Pikachu in a way. I don't really like using that word, but it comes up a lot in cartoon art, so I guess that's the proper term for it. One of these days I'm going to draw a proper Pikachu on stream. One of the classic design. The regular Pikachu design. And let me tell you, the regular Pikachu design is in fact a lot prettier than Fat Pikachu ever was. But this was the original Gen 1 Pikachu. So there's that. And then he had his little electric cheeks. Alright, there you go. Gen 1 Fat Pikachu. And with that, I think we're going to call it a night. Let me see if there's anyone. Before I see if there's anyone to raid, let me go ahead and do a recap. Eevee. We started the night with Eevee. The namesake of my channel and the star of the show and my favorite Pokemon ever. Then we did Espeon. Flareon. Glaceon. Jolteon, Leafeon, Sylveon, Umbreon, Vaporeon, and then we finished with Gen 1 Fat Pikachu as a little bonus. There's going to be more Pikachu on the stream, I can guarantee that. But I'll leave him on screen while I look for someone to raid. He's still going, but how long has he been going? He's been doing his show for 2.5 hours already. So he's probably getting ready to quit. Any other musicians on tonight? Here's a musician I don't normally see. And there's a musician I just started following last week that I know is good. This one's been going. I'm checking out these channels real quick, and then we'll pick a raid. Four hours. I'm not sure. Last time I raided her, she was getting ready to raid to the next show. But it looks like there's at least three songs left in her queue. This one. Oh, not sure what's going on. 5.5 hour show. I don't know how any musician can put up a 5.5 hour show. I mean, that's got to take some skill and talent. All right. We're going to go, I think we're going to go, hard to say. I'm going to run a random.org because I'm having indecision. They're both very good. Or we could raid the guy who usually streams for only 2.5 hours, and he's 2.5 hours into his show. So, alright. The randomizer has decided. We're going to raid Missy Alcazar music. Let's keep Pikachu on the screen if I can. Let's make sure I spell it correctly. Alright, the raid is set up. I hope you enjoyed my art tonight. We'll be back with viewer participation games at some point tomorrow evening. Have a good night. Enjoy the music, and I'll see you soon.
You guys are amazing for picking songs that are my favorite. Picking songs that are my favorite for your incredible generosity. Yeah, speak like Quebec. I'll be in Quebec. I'll be in Quebec in October. There might be some fun stuff happening. Hoagie Man, thank you. Thank you so much.